This is Kristen, and welcome to Cultivated. This essay was born of spite, which, frankly, is where most useful things begin. In my creative nonfiction MFA program, I was asked to explain how I verified my memories. Did I cross-reference diaries, interview others, revisit the scene of the collapse? It was suggested I approach memory like a mildly haunted crime scene. I chafed. I resisted. Then I lit the assignment on fire. What I wrote instead was meant to be a detour, just a warm-up, a controlled burn. Something to clear the process out of my system before I got back to the business of writing a nice, verifiable memoir with tidy little footnotes and appropriate citations. But the longer I sat with it, the more clear it became. This was the real work. This essay that refused to behave, that declined structure, that would not play nice. It lives somewhere between memoir and mutiny. I didn't verify the truth in this piece. I questioned the very premise that I should. 1. Why I write. In the nebulous region of creative nonfiction, this is not memoir, not essay, a hybrid of things, but what things? I'm not sure. It will come as it comes. My words are unraveling something, but also raveling, like someone intent on dismantling only to see how it works. I must then painstakingly replace every piece at the end, pull it apart, back together again. The work is rote, except when it isn't, but also necessary for my daughters as they wind their own ribbons. This weighs on me, but with a comfortable heft as I work, determining what matters and how. That's why I write, not for you or for me, but for her and for her. 2. Truth is a hot take. It's the king. Truth stands mightily in contrast to lies and to fake and to false. It's white or black, wrong or right. It's the dichotomy of all dichotomies. It's our shining star, and its absence a black hole. The crux of it? Why I simply cannot offer a promise of truth? Truth is not absolute. It is not a sure thing. It's not a safe bet or a literal interpretation of fact. This is no longer revolutionary thinking. Scan the creative nonfiction pile and you'll find scads of books explaining the fluidity of memory and, in turn, the concept of winding merrily down the paths to discussions of my truth and your truth. Notice, too, the vitriolic public debates about what happened when. No longer are questions of authenticity and fact reserved for ivory tower debates. We are all in the game, like it or not. The question was posed, and I was to assure first myself, then my reader, that I've told the truth as best I can. But I gently refuse, and in fact, I'm unable. I reject this assumption that this is the thing I will do. Watch me as I turn it upside down. What if, instead of meticulously checked memory, I do something else entirely? 3. The cult of truth. Truth has never been my jam, or at least not since I became a member of a cult whose adherents refer to themselves privately as belonging to the truth, by which they mean the absolute, the only, the single way from earth into heaven. The consequence of years spent unpacking the meaning of capital T truth, tangled up in belief is I don't much trust the concept. There are many faiths who purport to be the only way to eternal life. This one walks soundlessly among us, balanced on a tightrope of truth posed in opposition. A history where little was known even by members, built on lies. Its doctrine, fashioned from secrecy, ensures followers abide by its myriad, strict, unspoken rules governing the tricky necessity of moving about in the world while simultaneously remaining distinct from it. 4. When truth was rewritten. The people who conned my connable dad into their truth were especially good at what they did. Why? What they had, in fact, was truth in a form. Fervent belief convinces when a person is searching, and Dad was. But while he found the truth, I was 7, and with the heart of a child, I sought something else entirely. Beginning the age of reason, I assumed the intention of most everyone was to be good, and I looked for evidence this was so. I valiantly took their truth and assumed it to be true. Children see in binaries, no? If this is the way, I prayed to God, then bend me to your will. I strained, but never heard the still small voice the truth's adherents reverently referred to. Instead, I found myself balanced atop a silent, empty well, into the depths of which I was relentlessly lowered. 1 minute, I was a regular kid with regular problems. I say that knowing there is no such thing. Enmeshed in a working-class neighborhood. Dads worked union jobs and carried chipped, latching lunchboxes, and moms cooked elbow macaroni and stirred in shredded cheddar and called you in at dusk. For the last time, I said. I'd been learning my role since the day I was born, and the next minute it had been rewritten. Some happened fast and some slow, but regardless, I was engulfed by the truth as it drowned my own. Gone were my friends. Poof. Gone was my sweet bobbed haircut. Gone was Christmas, Easter, Halloween, pants, jewelry, including the small birthstone ring I'd cherished. Gone was music, TV. Gone was playing outside in the evening, replaced by sitting on the fading flowered couch and rereading the Bible, stumbling over old-fashioned prose, ignoring the cha-cha summons of sprinklers and friends whooping in the dusk. Gone was the peace I'd taken for granted. Gone was the safety of home. In its place, the terror of living with a mind no one understood then was ill, whose medicine was now dosed in strict creed and canon. Gone was truth as a line. No one agreed on what it was anymore, and I watched it redrawn by whoever had power. Absence of what had once been true dismantled my world, one built around Bible stories, absorbed as years wrapped around themselves in the Lutheran church into which I'd been born. This truth, one I'd known and cherished, was replaced by the truth, defined not by what it was, but by what it was not. In this void, the structure of my life was demolished and a new one rebuilt, one crafted of gloom and clogged with vague declarations swirling into every space, choking the sun's shine and curling into my nostrils. It's my simple understanding that when something is taken away, something else fills the vacuum. What filled me back up? Certainly not the love of this God I'd been promised would come if only I softened my heart. I strained to be good, to be pliable and willing, but he never showed. Into emptiness tumbled anger, self-loathing, my miserable yearning feeding the hate fire I built, raging flames consuming the logs of truth fed to me from every direction. 5. A life of split truths. I've told my story many times and have versions mostly the same, differing slightly in which details I select to accommodate for duration or audience. But mostly they begin with "when I was 7", then sum it up neatly, curated just so, telling split truths with the precarious balance necessary to straddle them both. I've been a liar ever since trained, moving seamlessly between worlds, so much so it is effortless to do it and a strain to land elsewhere. But what is truth, anyway, if not a made-up construct? Who defines the paradigm? Who is the arbitrator? Who wins? Also, what do they win? I used to care so much about these matters. An old friend tells me what she loves most about me is my integrity. I cringe. I have none, I want to tell her. It's all smoke and mirrors, a facade. I didn't try to build this, it just happened. See Lauren Slater, Lying. 6. I'm not a reliable narrator. It's established then. The canopy under which my writing falls is a nebulous one. I refuse to tell you that I've made the best efforts to tell the truth, not because I walk a line of fiction, not because when I tell the story and my brother tells it, we come out in two different places. Not in the rebellious nature of the angry girl, spelled GRRL, you know, that 90s Jane magazine, riot girl energy lashing out. But because the only thing I'm doing is, after all, the only thing I can do, with definitions I've spent a lifetime rejecting. Whose idea was it to go back and gather evidence, sifting at water's edge, eyes pricked for the bright bauble or weathered bone washing up? I see that girl on the shore, searching, and I scream at her to stop before she unwittingly falls in. I was submerged far too long, half drowning, the worst kind of all. I can swim now, but still, I'm hard-pressed to think it's a good thing to dive deep, although I could, mind you. I swam up and out, but it was a furious and hurtful task. This isn't a thing that gets easier the more you do it, so I won't. I offer this, and please understand, I offer respectfully. Take my telling as you like, but in the spirit intended. My writing is a form of a thing, but it's not the thing. It's the telling, the remarks, the intention. It's what it is, simply. And whatever label you need to put on it is for you to decide, not me. I cede the binary, the this or the that. 7. A soft rebellion. As I mature in life and on pages, I sort memories, discern their meaning. Most are easily accessible, but those are the ones I'd worry about if I were someone who worried about things like that. Wisdom suggests every time I access a memory, I change it. See Norman Doidge, The Brain That Changes Itself. And I imagine the ones I reach for, those I thumb through on, if not a regular basis, at least an occasional one, are like the stones I collect, shaped over time, once jagged edges softened, and now in my hands. But isn't that the purpose of revisiting a memory? Is it not a good thing to hone rough terrain, to make it less likely to lacerate, to perhaps turn it into something that eases my senses, comforting as I stroke and caress before putting it carefully back? It's that, or it's filling my pockets to wade in. In the spirit of examination, then, I examine for myself, and for her, and for her, and for her. That's it. Now the grossly awkward part for me. Anyway, if you want more of this, the button's here. And since it's already awkward, please feel free to share this. There might be someone out there untangling their own experience, their own version. Thank you for being here with me. This is Kristen. This is Cultivated. And until next time, take good care.